Hey, good evening. This is Frank, OnePackageLive.com, and it's March 14th, 10:54 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And while I was studying my AWK and SED book, I basically got fed up with reading some of the TROF and NROF and all these other specific macros that they were talking about. And so what I took what I understood, combined with everything else, and I basically figured, okay, you know what, I should do something for today. This morning I took some GS tracks when I was to my work. Well, actually, I was on the way to the clinic, and I decided just to track some. Hang on one second. Let me say good night to my boss here. Alright, cool. And go ahead and put it on away, so then they get the hint. So anyways, here's what's happening. GPS tracks this morning on my tablet, and what I did was, let me show you the program here. Okay, I took some tracks using this program here. Basically, you record them, and it saved these files. Let's see if it shows you any info. I don't think you can see it well, but anyways, what it did, it's basically a map. I think it's Google Maps, and it sends all the information to a file, a comma separated value file, which I'm going to show you now. And at the end of my chapter, I realized, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and dig into the file and see what I can do with it. And this is what I found. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here. I'm going to use this program because it's bugging me. Let's see here. I named the file original track.csv, and this is what we have here. We have raw data. We have the segment. We have the following columns: segment, the point, latitude degrees, longitude degrees, altitude, bearing, accuracy, speed, and you name the rest. You can read them yourself. And these are all of the numbers, or this is the actual data of the tracks that came in. As you see, I took them this morning, and this evening, I actually did something cool with them. The first thing that I wanted to do was let me go ahead and bring up the other terminal real quick. Okay, if you notice, these files are separated by commas, and there are no spaces between the commas and the quotes. Okay, the actual data is between the quotes, so the quotes enclose the data, and each column is separated by a comma. Right now, what I wanted to do originally was, and I'm still on a quest to do this, is to place these values into an SQL table. When I get my Linux server, I want to install PostgreSQL once again and start working with that. And I want to be able to take data like this, just raw data, and just write it into the database with one command. So, with that being said, we need to do the first thing we need to do is separate this into fields. I asked myself, well, how do I do that? And I figured, okay, I learned something today. Let me go ahead and show you the file that I created line by line. Nope. Right. So here we go. Alright. So here's the file that I created as I logged everything today, and you can read this stuff here that I wrote, basically what I'm going to talk about today. And I decided to use, I'm going to use this command to write to this new file. And this is our first step, to take the CSV, the comma separated value file, for the tracks, and convert the commas into spaces with commas and write the output to a new file. See below. So we went on and did that, and this is what this file looks like. Okay. It's going to be very hard to tell the difference at first, but if you see, I separated the commas. I actually replaced the commas with a comma and a space, And if you want to see the original file, you should see the difference now. And the syntax that I used for that was this guy right here. Let me see where it is. Oh, that was it right there. So let's go ahead and run that real quick off the shell. Oh, doesn't work that way. Okay, let's take a look at what happens. Okay, see what I did? The original file was I'm stuttering here. I'm getting tongue-tied. The original file had no spaces between the comma and the quote, but this SED command told me to use the I told it to replace a comma with a space and a comma. You can't see the space because the space doesn't really have a shape or a color, and unlike the book, there's no box there. So because it's being between the quotes, the shell is going to translate it properly. And I told it to do it globally, which means on every single line that's encountered, every single space here is replaced by a comma. If we do it again, watch. And if we look at the original, you'll see that there's no spaces. Okay, so if we want to do a diff to compare them, original file versus tracks, you're going to see all the every single line is different. Now let's see how much I'm going to show you how much the line count is for every file so that you can follow me closely. The original file and the newly created file both have 1,508 lines. So we're gonna, at least you're gonna follow me closely here. Okay, before I fall asleep here, let me go on to the next step. So now that I was able to separate them, that gave me the ability to mess around with the fields. Now that I have fields to work with, I'm going to take advantage of them using the AWK command. If you look here, these are all little copy and paste track of what I'm doing and not get very good memory. Separate, I want to get 4 different, or call latitude and the longitude, and I want to keep all of this rest of that file, of the new file. So in order for me to accomplish this, I have to play around with a number of codes here, or sorry, different lines, and I did a bunch of different experiments. Let me show you the first one that worked. Okay. Alright. You know, I did label this, and because it's been a long day, I've been up since 4 in the morning. I'm kind of like in that duh mode right now. Okay, where are you? I don't want to have to rewrite the whole command again. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Right. So this contains something very special. Okay, this line, the command here, allowed me to pull out the 4 different fields and print them out to a new file, and I'm going to show you how I did that. Okay, first of all, because I want, you know, 4 different columns, it doesn't mean that I'm going to print 4 different fields, and I'll show you why. I counted the fields, and I realized that they didn't necessarily match the columns. The segment, the point, the latitude, and the longitude are 4 columns, which we know. But the segment is, you know, a number in itself. The point is another number. The latitude is one number, and the longitude is another. I'm sorry. The latitude, of course, consists of a set of coordinates, which is 2 different fields, and likewise the longitude. So that gives me a total of 6 different fields to print out. And this is why I use the AWK command. Let's look at it here. This was the line right here that worked. Okay, and we're gonna run it for you so that you can see it in action. Okay. Alright, now let's take a look at this. See that? You see what happened now? Okay, I did a regular expression to grab a range of numbers. Of course, I had to backslash the quotes, and so that I can escape them. I'm sorry, not the quotes. Yeah, I had to backslash this quote that was in the original data so that the shell doesn't interpret it literally, and which means if it interprets it literally and there's going to be an error on the command prompt. Pick any number from 0 through 9 which has one digit. This between in the brackets here basically say, you know, I'm telling it to give me 1. There's a dot here which is going to be the decimal, and I told it to, you know, to escape the comma. What is this? Okay, no. Alright. Shut up. Okay. I told it to escape the comma, okay, and apply this globally. Then I use the pipe command so that I can pipe the output of that information into the input of the following command, okay, which is awk. I told awk to print fields 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, which this should be the latitude, and then this should be the longitude here, okay, field 5 and field 6 from the file tracks, you know, underscore Carson to Long Beach .csv, and this is the output that we received. Okay, now let's take a look at the file, the original file, and what we're going to do next is write that information to a new file, because we don't want to corrupt the original files. It's always good to backtrack and you know, be able to fix your mistakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and paste this here. I'm going to write it to a new file named desired GPS data. The desired GPS data is going to contain the data within these fields here, which are the 4 different columns: the segment, the point, the latitude, and longitude. So let's go ahead and press enter. Hello? Hello? Okay, no answer. Why is that happening? I don't know, but I'm gonna figure it out right now. Oh, duh. Okay, because I was writing it to the desired GPS data. So since that was the case, I know my video sounds really bad, but oh well. At least I'm getting what I want out of this book. Let's go ahead and cat the desired data, and let me show you what we have: segment, point, latitude, degrees, longitude, degrees. Alright, and we have our segment, which our point, and you're going to see it gradually changes as it goes down. Our latitude and longitude, I'm sorry, our latitude right here, these both of these numbers are going to make our latitude, and our longitude is going to be made by both of these numbers. So I stripped away the rest of the columns from the, let's look at the tracks. I stripped away the rest of these columns and all these empty quotes and everything from that file into this. So I am really excited. I'm really stoked about this, okay, shebang, because this is gonna allow me to do the next, you know, this has been my dream for some time, to be able to take that information and put it into between the meta characters that make up the tables for SQL databases. Because if I can do this, and when I'm able to do this, I'm going to be able to. This is meaningless right now. All this stuff right now that's below here is not working yet. So I'm gonna continue working on this until we are able to print all that stuff into SQL data tables. And when I get my Linux box and I run my PostgreSQL server or MySQL server, we're going to be able to write it in automatically. There's actually a program called GPS Trans that I used a long time ago, and you just plug in your GPS to the computer, and it prints out all of the GPS information, the tracks, whatever it is. But I want to be able to put it straight into the database without having to do anything. Just get that, have SED read that information, have a shell script read that information, put it into GREP, process it with AWK and do whatever it needs to do, and throw it into a database. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close the video tonight. For all of you who didn't know, YouTube has been having some issues with processing videos. I think that they changed the formats. I went to somebody's YouTube video, and he instructed to change it to web BM. I also found that worked for me by changing it to MP4. So go ahead and give that a shot, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Good night.